Okay, so we're starting with simplifying algebraic fractions. Now, in order to do this section well, we must be able to factorize perfectly. So only go on to the section when you are absolutely 100% with factorizing. Why? Because can we just say this is 4x and that's 4x and cancel them? Can we do that? Absolutely not. Because here there is a plus sign, isn't it? So can we cancel over a plus? No, we can't. Okay. For example, if I had x squared plus x divided by x and I canceled, then that just leaves me with x squared. But is that true? Let's put some numbers in there and see. So what if I had 9 plus 2 divided by 2? Cancel them, my answer is 9, right? Will this actually give us 9? Logically, no, it won't, because we have to do the addition on the top first and then see what the fraction is going to be. That's going to give us 11 over 2, isn't it? 9 is very different from 11 over 2. If I had 9 times 2 divided by 2, can I now cancel this one and that one? Yes, I can. Remember that 9 plus 2 over 2 can be rewritten as 9 over 2 plus 2 over 2, isn't it? When the denominators are the same, we can put them as one fraction. Now, if I cancel them, I've got 9 plus 2, 9 over 2 plus 1. So simplifying this fraction gives me 9 over 2 plus 1. This is very different from just having 9 if I cancel them, isn't it? But if I had multiplication, 9 times 2 over 2, and now can I cancel them? Yes, I can. My answer here will be 9. Why is that? Because if I have to write this as separate fractions, this would be 9 over 1 times 2 over 2, isn't it? This is how we would separate the multiplication of fractions. Now we can cancel, because 2 divided by 2 is just 1, and 1 is an identity element, so it does not change the value of the 9. So the reason we can cancel over a plus sign is because over a multiplication sign, is because when we multiply by 1, we don't change the value of this number. But when we add by 1, see, this is 1, we're adding 1. When we add 1, it changes the value. So we cannot cancel over pluses, we cancel over multiplication. And this is the reason why we do factorizing before we could go on to fractions, okay? So factorizing changes terms into factors, thereby giving us the ability to cancel, because we wouldn't be able to cancel under if there was a plus, isn't it? We can't cancel terms, so we can cancel factors. This is the most important reason for factorizing. Okay, so let's go on to how to do this question. Step number 1 is going to be factor. Okay, so if we took out a common factor, the common factor on the top here, when you see this and you get confused, just take an eraser and just block the bottom, focus on the top. So we got 4x squared plus 8x, and that's going to give us 4x. And what will be left? If I take out 4x as a common factor here and here, I'm going to be left with, on this side, I have an x. And on this side, I have a 2. Again, you have to be thoroughly fluent with taking out a common factor and normal factorization of grade 10 before you could go on to this question. And then I've got 4x squared left in the bottom. Remember, 4x squared can be rewritten as 4x times x. So if you want to write it out like that, that's also fine, just so that you can see what is going to cancel here. Okay. Now I can see this is being multiplied to this. So therefore, I can cancel. This is being multiplied. So there's no longer a plus separating these two. It's now a dot, which means multiplication. Does that mean I can cancel? Yes, absolutely. So now cancel there, and you're left with x plus 2 divided by x. Okay. Quite a simple, straightforward one, simplifying that fraction. So step number 1 was to factorize, which we did. Step 2 was to cancel. Okay, so we canceled what we could, and then we just rewrote our answer. Okay, so as we move on, we might find a little bit more steps coming in, and then we'll just add them to our questions. Okay, so here we've got 2x cubed y plus 3xy over 9y squared. Okay, again, there's a plus sign here. Whenever we see a plus or a minus in a fraction or an exponent, rule number 1 is to factorize because we cannot cancel, isn't it? We have to factor. So let's factor. What do we get as a common factor here? It's going to be 3xy, right? If it's looking too much, just block the bottom, focus on the top, factor, and then deal with the bottom later on. Okay, so it's 3xy. Here we got 4x squared. Remember, when I multiply these two, I need to get this here. Okay, and then plus 1. Okay, so that's fully factorized. Okay, and then we're going to put our 9y squared down here. Here we go. Okay, now what do we do? Now we cancel. But remember, instead of writing it as 9y squared, I could write it as 9y times y, or I could write it as 3 times 3 times y, whichever you want. I think the numbers are easier to cancel. Most of us just put it in the calculator, but the y's are a little bit tricky, so if we separate them, it'll help us. Okay, so 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 9 3 times, and then we have this y and that y will cancel. So in the bottom, I've got a 3 left here and a y. And at the top, I've got an x left there. So I've got x, open brackets, 4x squared plus 1 all over 3y. And this is the simplest that we can get this fraction to. Okay. Okay, so this is more of a grade 10 level simplification. I think I'm going to need a little bit more space here. So let's try and move this up a little bit here, maybe. Okay, so let's work with this. Okay, you can see that this is going to be a difference of cubes, right? So the first step is to factor the difference of cubes. Now, very, very important, cube root the first term, same sign, cube root the second term. Square this one, put it in here. Square the last one, put it up, down. Same sign would be here. This will be the opposite sign, always positive, and this product of these two would go up here. Okay, remember how to factor your cubes. And then we got a 2 minus x in the bottom. Okay, now can we just cancel x minus 2 and 2 minus x? Absolutely not. 5 minus 3 is not equal to 3 minus 5 because subtraction is not commutative, isn't it? So can we just cancel them? No. If I said 5 minus 3 here, I'm going to get an answer of 2. And if I said 3 minus 5, I'm going to get an answer of negative 2. So the difference between this one and this one is the negative. So it just means that when we have subtraction in a different order, all I have to do is swap it around and change the sign. So if I swap the bottom to be x minus 2 as well, then I can just pull out a negative there. So I can say negative into x minus 2. And remember, if I factor the negative in, negative times x minus 2 and distribute this, I'm going to get negative x plus 2, which is the same as 2 minus x, isn't it? So the negative didn't change the value of this. We just take out the negative and swap the order. X minus 2 on the top and bring down the rest. Now, can we cancel? Absolutely. And remember, we got a negative out there, which we're just going to write on the front there. Open brackets. and distribute the negative at the end. Negative x squared minus 2x minus 4. And that's our final answer.